Hey guys, welcome back to Boss Beginnings. Today is a crime day. I know you're saying like, what is she doing on this channel? I'm doing everything, okay? So if you like it, please leave a comment. Let me know like, hey, I want to hear more about these crime stories, or do you want to hear more about these love shows? Because Love in Huntsville is coming back. So you know we're gonna have to review that. Today I have a special guest. As you see the title, right? We're gonna be talking about AJ Armstrong. We're trying to edit ourselves a little bit because YouTube will yellow mark me for saying like boom boom and that yellow marking. But I have a special guest. Her name is Angel. Angel, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi. Yeah. I don't know what you want me to say about me, but I am really excited about this because I live for true crime. So
Yeah.
here we are.
All
Yeah.
right, here we are. Thank you. She's my niece. That I throw that out there. But
This is true. I guess I could have said that. Yeah.
but yeah, she lives for true crime. So I said, hey, who better to bring on here and discuss this case? Because I have literally been eating, breathing, sleeping this case over the last week. I wanted to do this a long time ago, but I wanted to have all the information so I could give my best guess of what happened. Because right at the end of the day, we weren't there, so that's all we can do, speculate, right? So before we get started, just want to say that everything I say here is, my opinion. And of course, I don't know the facts, wasn't there, wasn't in the house, thank God. So, just a bunch of, well, not everything I say. Some of the stuff I'm going to repeat are facts, but what I think happened will be my opinion, okay? So, before we get started, if you could go ahead and like this video, share it to your friends, get the word out. I want you to tell me at the end of this, do you think AJ was guilty? Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. So AJ Armstrong was like any other 16-year-old teenager. Um, I have a picture of him on thumbnail, but I'll pull it up. Hold on. Let's see if I'll share my screen. Um, I made a little collage, guys. I probably should have did this before we got started. Sorry, but I made a
Your
collage of
Google,
pictures. Huh?
your Google looks so different from mine. Like it looks all pretty.
Yeah, they usually hook me up with a little bit of the Goog. You know, I don't know what I should do to my email. I don't know if I should be doing this on live. If y'all want to use mine, that's fine.
I'm sure Canva won't mind. I'm actually sure they do, but
I don't mind as long as you don't steal everything that I. Okay, so that's not wrong. Oh, it said try log. Okay, so we're not even gonna do that because I should do this beforehand. I don't want to make this too long, and then y'all click off my video and all this stuff. All right, so AJ Armstrong is like any other 16-year-old teenager, right? And him and his parents are having problems. They would say he's a privileged teenager. He had got a very nice first car. He was in a private school his whole life. His family did a lot to make sure he was well taken care of.
you know
So
what kind of first car he had, or
I don't, but they just said it was real nice. So
oh,
in the text message to his mom, she says, we got you this brand new car, but she didn't say what it was. She just said he had a brand new car. And she's like, we're going to downgrade your car because you're acting out and we're very disappointed in you. So basically, um, he lived a life of privilege. And what was happening is things were starting to be taken away from him. So he was no longer going back to this prestigious school in which his parents had to take out loans for tuition there because he wasn't making the grades to be there. Like I said, he was going to lose his car. They were asking him to stay home more. They had found out he was selling drugs, but the drugs that he was selling was marijuana. Not to downplay that, but everybody think they're a drug dealer nowadays. But seriously, so still, what's up? What's up, Kendra? But yeah, so they had really, he had really started to get in trouble. And his parents were really, really don't forget to like Kendra as you come in. His parents were really, really starting to get frustrated with him because they felt like they had provided a lifestyle to him, like we always say, right? We want our kids to have more than what we have. And that's what they felt like they had done for them. Well, unfortunately, on July 26th of 2016, there was Antoine, which is AJ's dad, he's a junior. So Antoine Sr. and
Okay.
Dunn, who is the mom, were shot. I mean, boom, boom, I should say. They were, boomed at. And we got a 911 call. And the
Who
911,
called 911? Oh, sorry, you're going into that. Okay.
yeah, good question. Who called 911? It was their son, AJ. So AJ called 911 and stated that, his parents, he heard a gun. He heard it. Well, okay, I got to do that yellow mark. He heard a gunshot, whatever. And he heard a gunshot, and it came from his parents' bedroom. And so the 911, I'm gonna read it to you, verbatim. He heard a gunshot and it came from his parents' bedroom. And so they asked him, did he know what type of gun it was? And he said he's not really good with guns, which, we think is a little weird that the 911 officer
I
asked.
mean, I was just about to say, what kind of question is that? I
Yeah.
can't, like, I don't know. This is why I always am like, I'm going to go to jail if something like this happens because definitely they're going to think I did it because now I'm going to be going off on the 911 operator because I just told you that someone in my house got. And you're like, what kind of gun was it? Why would I know that?
It's one that shoots bullets. That's what I would have said. So,
Right. I no, I would have snapped. Like, send somebody here. I
right.
don't know. Like, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe people who know guns know. Because I feel like even
Yeah.
if you know guns, like,
Do they have different? I mean, is it that drastically different when you're alarmed that you can recognize like that's a? And he's 16, but I guess they probably don't know that. Well, so they asked him where he is. He said he was hiding in his closet. She said she about to go. We ain't talking about that. He was hiding in his closet. He said he couldn't tell what type of gun it was, but maybe it was a 15, which that's telling exactly what type of gun it is. Then he offers the information that he thinks his dad has a gun. The 911 officer doesn't even ask about that. And he's like, "Where is my dad's gun?" And he's like, "It's on the side of my dad's bed or whatever." And so he offers up this information, suspicious. And then he goes to say, um, what did he say? I can't believe I let this happen. Okay, he goes on to say that something like that. This is my fault. That's what he says. This is my fault. Or this is all my fault.
like
And
just unprovoked.
just unprovoked. And then they tell him to go wake up. Is anybody else in the house? Of course, he has a little sister that's 12 years old that's sleeping in her room right down the hallway from the parents. So just to set it up, this house is a 3-story home, and the little boy AJ, he's on the 3rd floor, like a loft like room. The parents and the sister are on the 2nd floor, and then like the living area is on the 1st floor or whatever. So the house was secured. AJ has to go down and let the police in. They come up the stairs and they see that both of their parents have unfortunately, like you said, got. And so, the dad, they see the mom has been shot twice with a pillow over her face, and the dad was shot once. The dad was still alive, but of course he didn't make it. He succumbed to his injuries 24 hours after going to the hospital.
So when the cops got there, the dad was still alive, but
He was
he was
alive,
like
but he
unconscious.
wasn't. They said he was just making noises, so I guess
Mm,
he wasn't able to like answer questions and things.
right.
So they took the dad to the hospital. Now, according to the sister, right at this time, they tested all their hands. So I would think somebody whose parents had just been killed that they would just grab the kids and test them. But she said they instantly threw her in the back of a squad car and they tested her and her brother's hands. Well,
Do the cops say different, or are they
no,
not
that's
saying?
what they said. I just thought it was weird. Like, we don't,
No, I was just wondering if, like, sometimes people say stuff and then the police will come out and be like,
we
that
never.
didn't happen like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so here's the crazy part. So once the police investigated the house, they noticed that the murder weapon was not only than AJ Senior's gun, and also there was a note that said, "I've been watching you," next to it in the kitchen. And in the 911 call, AJ Jr. makes no reference to an intruder in the house. So, they come to the conclusion that if, AJ had to let us in, the house was secured and locked by 9:30, according to the younger sister. Well, who came in and who attacked the parents? They made the decision that it had to be someone in the house that did it. And the only person that could have done it in their mind was AJ, because he's the only one who had the opportunity. He's the only one they feel like, I guess, is strong enough, because the sister was only 12. And so they felt that AJ had to be the suspect. So from going from this 16-year-old who just lost his parents, instantly he became a suspect. And like I said, they had already tried, tested his hands, but his shirt came back and it had on the right side, it had the gunpowder residue, but he did not have the residue on his hands. Also,
Hmm.
they noticed that the first person he called when he said he heard the intruder was not 911. The first person he called was his older brother Josh, who was Dunn's his mom's child, but not his dad's child. And so a lot of people think that's kind of suspicious that after you find out your parents, well, you really don't know what happens, right? Because according to AJ, he didn't go in the room. He just saw an intruder leaving. He heard some gunshots and he went to go hide. And so his first thought was to call his brother instead of calling 911. What do you think of that?
Okay, so I want to go back. So first, you said in the original 911 call, he didn't make any mention of an intruder.
No.
So what did he say happened? Like he just
He
said he
just
heard
said he
shots?
heard gunshots in his parents' bedroom and that the door was cracked.
Okay. Um, okay, so your question, because I think that was it. Your question is, what do I think about the
Him
fact
not
that he called
calling
his brother?
911.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's a kid, right? So I think like you call who's familiar to you. I don't know about if something was to happen when I was that age in the house. I probably, well, I don't know. We all live together, but I think like maybe if my parents weren't home, like I might think to call them before I called 911. Like they would probably have to have been the ones to tell me to call 911.
You know what this makes me think about? When my dad, when Fuchsia found my dad on the floor when he had a stroke, her first instance was not to get him to the hospital, right? Which everybody else would think like he had a stroke, get him to the hospital. She took him up to my mom's job, and we know she didn't cause him having a stroke. But sometimes when you're in
You're
distress,
just like panicked,
you
right?
panic and you just go for what's familiar. So okay, that's
I
fair.
mean, and I guess like it's fair enough that like let's say he heard shots, saw a person. Okay, so you don't run in there after your parents because like what if they're still, like
Yeah.
shooting or searching or whatever they're looking for, and then you go back to your room and I don't know why you think that your big brother might be able to help quicker than the cops. So maybe in his mind it's like, hey, come help. Someone's in the house,
Yeah,
you know.
I can see that. I can see that. And then they talked about the fact that he waited 31 minutes to call for help. So I'm also
So call
not.
his brother.
Hmm. And so I'm in the middle about this too, because if you think someone's in the house, do you talk on the phone? I mean, I would at least
Wait,
text
so to call to call his brother and to call the police. So they think he
brother,
heard shots and then spent 30 minutes hiding
whatever. Yeah.
and then called his brother
And then I think you have to phone his
and
brother.
then called the police.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's a smart plan though, because maybe you don't start talking on the phone. You think somebody is still in your
This is
house.
where it doesn't add up at, because he says he saw the intruder. He says that he saw his face and his lips. So that tells me you saw him leave, right? If you
Wait,
see him,
how?
well, that's what he said. He saw the intruder run away with a black hoodie and a black face cap, and he saw him leave.
Oh, so he saw him leave.
Well, he didn't see him leave, but he saw him running down the stairs, basically. So I don't know how he saw his face, but that's what he said. And he said he knew the
Maybe it,
person was black.
yeah, I don't
This
know.
is
Maybe
black.
it was.
Okay,
Well, no, because I'm like, okay, because I forgot it was a three story. So now I'm like, okay, because I'm like, wait, where he see him
no,
run down to?
he's on
Okay,
the third floor. His parents are on the second floor. Maybe he saw him running down to the first floor because obviously the intruder, because he forgot to bring his own gun, he had to get the gun from the father's drawer, and then he had to run downstairs and write a note to let him know that he been watching him. Which I don't know who the notes to if you off the person.
maybe he wrote the note first. Like he came in, he was like,
Spice it up a little
steal,
bit.
I'm a steal some stuff, but I want them to know
Okay.
that I'm watching them. But maybe they didn't keep anything on the first floor, so he was like, let me go upstairs and
Okay.
then get upstairs. Wait, time out. You said earlier when you were talking about the police, you said, what did you say? You said he had to
He
let
had to
them
disarm
in.
the alarm. Yeah, when they got
So
there.
how did so did he turn the alarm back on? Like, did the intruder leave and he
So
go downstairs and turn the alarm
according to
on?
the sister, which I think is very weird. So when the sister was taken, this when she said in her testimony, when she was taken to the police station, she instantly said how the alarm system was faulty. So I feel like right off they're giving like let's set this thing up. So she said the alarm system was faulty, that it didn't always work in the garage. My question would be, if it didn't work in the garage and you're letting your 12-year-old daughter lock up the house and you know it doesn't work in your garage, what do? You say, go check the garage and make sure the garage is secure because you know it's locked before and the garage door has been open, right? Wouldn't that be something you would normally do?
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest. I forget to make sure the front door is locked.
Mm-hmm.
So
You don't have your address, luckily, but go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, I know, right? I mean, yeah, don't come to our house if you know where it is, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's, I
Well,
guess, because
see,
I know,
what's in you, right? Because I'm that person too. I've left, y'all don't know where I live at either. I've left my purse in the car. I've left
right? Like,
drawers in the car.
I do
But
remember.
we're women by ourselves. We'll have to get personal here. You don't have to.
No, I was just gonna say, remember that someone broke into my car one week and I didn't learn my lesson. The next week I left my stuff in the car and a different person broke into my car in a different space. Like, I guess I'm just saying, like,
You get comfortable.
yeah, I just think, like, I don't know, that I can't see why the adults, I feel like my
Yeah,
parents were
that's what I was
always
going to
really
say.
good about making sure everything was checked. But at the same time, I'm the adult now and
Poor job. No, just playing.
I I still don't. So I don't know.
Well, what I was gonna say is just like I'm absentee, like I'm absent-minded. Sometimes I'll leave. I feel like I've done a way better job, and I'll just lean in my bed and make sure I lock my bed. But when I go home, because the thieves love me back home because I forget to lock my door. My mom is constantly saying, "Did you lock the door?" Because they know. Me, I'm in there halfway asleep, but she reminds me. So it's like you got a house full of people. Your garage door doesn't always pick up on the alarm. And they said, oh, I haven't got there yet. But at the testimony, they were saying that people were after the dad or whatever. And so, if
What
you
is?
don't,
Well, yeah. Okay, never mind.
if
Because
somebody after you don't check and make sure every door is locked, it's
I
not
was
even for
gonna
yourself or your
say,
family.
I was gonna say, okay, what if one of the kids was supposed to go check and they didn't, and maybe
You,
that's why
you leave
AJ.
that up. You leave that up to
No,
a
no, no, no,
12-year-old?
no. That was before you said somebody was after the dad. I was gonna say, like, what if that's why AJ was like, it's all my fault, but he don't want to tell them, like,
Ah,
dang, I forgot to go check, cause like at 16 you don't be listening, and they're like, did you actually go check? And you like, yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, I looked.
cause you don't think somebody's coming to kill you, and so maybe that's why he was like, but then I feel like poor job on the dad's fault if he knew people were after him and he trusted that to a 16-year-old. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I would say I doubt that he did. But, as we were saying, so they both were interrogated. The sister said the alarm system was faulty and had been giving them issues. That's when we found out from AJ Jr. that there was an intruder, and he talked about how he had this black hoodie and this black mask on, and how he saw his face, so he knew that he was black, but he couldn't really make out who he was, and he saw him running out. Now, the problem, like I said, is that they had this alarm system, and the police said that they did a detailed search of the house, and that according to the alarm, the motion went from, the alarm would actually let me read it to you because I don't want to mess this up. The alarm system was actually locked at 9:35 by the sister, like she said, right? And
okay.
sorry, I screenshot it, but
It's
yeah.
kind of weird to trust the 12-year-old anyways.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Well, yeah,
Um,
they said the alarm was locked at 9:45, and then the stuff like I'm trying not to say these words. I want to get with the happened, the shooting or whatever happened at one something in the morning or whatever. But there was
okay,
motion, so the brother was never asleep. The AJ, he was never asleep. The sister was asleep, and I guess the parents were in the bedroom asleep. And
how they know? Did AJ say he was never asleep?
right, because they have him text messaging his girlfriend, and they have motion detectors of him walking up and down the stairs. And so they're saying that the first movement that occurred was from the third floor. And from the third floor, it went to the second floor and went back up to the third floor. They came back to the second floor and went to the first floor. That was the movement or whatever. And it doesn't align with AJ's story, but I guess he's saying that the alarm was faulty, and that could have possibly happened. Like um, we know these machines aren't 100% right. We can't trust. That's possible. We're just trying to say it's possible at this time, right? It's a lot of like he's having. If this story is true, he's having the worst day of his life because everything that could go wrong in life went wrong for him that day, if that's what happened. So basically, what he said is somebody broke in. They must have came through the garage because that's where the alarm did not pick up. They tripped upon his father's, gun. They shot the mom twice, then shot the dad, then, left this note, this parting gift, and they left the gun. They didn't take it with them, and they went right back out to the garage. The problem, so this is the problem what I have with it. That means the person had to know, because I'm not gonna believe someone's just that lucky to pick the garage door. Unless it was left open, then that's a different case. If it was left
I
open,
wish we had it. Like, makes me want to draw a picture like of the house because I'm like, I mean, so let's
it's a
go
townhouse.
from
Leave it there.
the idea that AJ's telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's the garage. I feel like the garage is like a pretty like common place to break in. I feel like people try to do that. I don't know. Because people assume that people don't lock that door between two.
Yeah.
Um,
How do you get the
which
garage up?
yeah, I don't know. I'm just
And
saying. I feel
so
like
they say the keypad. Okay, so the police officer said there was nothing tampered with. But I guess if he closed, I'm like, you're running out, and you make sure you close the door, and you put the garage back down. I mean, the story just it
so. How was there a sign of struggle
no,
in the parents' room?
no. It was so. On the closing argument, this is what I'm going to give you. On the closing argument, the defense, the prosecution, the one that's against him, right? The prosecution stated that the reason why they feel like AJ is guilty, number one, the house was fully alarmed. No, somebody in that house had to have done it. They don't believe the sister was. She was only 12, so they really don't believe she did it, right? And so it
Right.
had to be AJ. And they gave the story, not the story, but according to them, the parents were very disappointed in him. He had been in juvie jail. He was selling
So he
drugs.
murdered
Well, let me finish now. Okay. They were going to take away his car. They said one of the first things that the grandma said when they arrested AJ was, well, if AJ did it, it was them drugs. So I don't know if AJ was on more than marijuana, but they only reported marijuana. They said that 3 days before the unfortunate, killing of the parents, that AJ had attempted to burn down the house. And he tried to say that he lit the bedroom on fire by accident, like he just dropped the match because he's too old for that. Well, the problem is he had a bottle of gasoline, so he poured the gasoline and then lit the house on fire.
him?
Mm-hmm.
When was this?
Like 3 days before they were actually doing.
Mm.
Also, AJ had been doing practice shots. He said he had never dealt with the gun before. They found out he has gun holes in his floor and that he had covered them up with a bunch of socks and he had shot through a pillow through the floor in his room. Now, was that the
What?
first
How did
time?
they know he shot through a pillow?
Oh, I guess they found the pillow, they found the socks on top of the hole. And so I guess that's why his parents didn't hear it. They don't know that his parents knew about that. And
Mm.
then they went through his searches, and his searches were how to blow up a car while driving it. And so it's like, was he trying to find ways to get rid of his parents? And this is
Mm.
the only way he could think of it. I mean, when you hear
Mm.
it like that, you think like he was up to something. He was thinking about doing something. He blamed the fire on his sister, which they later figured out it wasn't her. Now, he shoots through the wall. It's like, was that the first attempt? Because if he's on the third floor and they're on the second, I don't know how their bedrooms are made, but is his bedroom above theirs and you just shoot straight through the floor? Like that could have been dangerous. Um, After that, we have the situation that nobody else can get in. I mean, the house is secure. He had to disarm the alarm to let the police in. So
I'm like really over here thinking because you just don't want it to be him.
you don't
But
want
this,
it to be him. You don't want a kid. So this is what I came up with because his both of his grandparents on the mom and dad side are very adamant that it wasn't AJ and that they know they're innocent. Also, during trial, they began this throwing Josh. Josh is the older brother. That's Don's child, his mom, but not his dad's child. They're saying he was the one that was acting funny. He went away from college. He came back doing drugs, and he heard voices in his head. Also, they have, unfortunately, they have Josh on record after the parents were, after they died. They have him on record stating that he witnessed his parents be killed. But, but he's not mentally stable. And he was saying he wouldn't get killed. He feel like all his family's after him, and he's the next one. And he kind of
what do you mean he's uh unstable?
he's mentally unstable. So like he was in a care of a psychiatrist, or you know, and that's when he admitted that. But they think he was in a manic state, like he was hallucinating pretty much. So I guess his
How
which
long has he been in the care of that psychiatrist? Do we know?
I think he's always had issues, but I think after the situation, I think he went off. So I'm gonna give you my idea of what happened. Okay,
Okay.
I believe definitely, and then you can tell me what you think. Okay, I definitely believe one of those kids did it, and I'm not even above thinking that the 12-year-old did it. I mean, maybe she wasn't like involved, but I think she was a part of it. It's hard for me to believe unless she was drugged, that she slept through the murder of her parents. Okay. Um,
Hmm.
So this is what I think happened. His grandparents are adamant that he's innocent. And I feel like they know something we don't know. So the father was in a allegedly a part of a prostitution ring. And these were the people that were after him. And I know, one doesn't always equal the other, but if he could have been a part of a prostitution ring, I mean, then that puts the question what type of person he was. So what if the father, because we don't know what's happening in their home, was abusing one of the kids? And they came up. She said, "Not you two hitting me with a commercial to get in the line. Get your money, girl. Yes. I hope you didn't press skip. Okay, but but yeah, they what if he was messing with the kids and they came up with this game plan of how to get rid of the father? And they snuck the brother in because they knew that the alarm didn't work out of the garage. And they somewhat either they drugged the parents or they did it together. Like, maybe they did the mom first or whatever, and then they did the dad, but they were already holding him down. So by the time they got back around that, he didn't have a chance to react because you have sleep. If somebody just puts a pillow over you. Um, so that's what I'm thinking happened. I'm thinking that they did it together, and even the sister knows about it. Also, if your brother is the first one that you call when this situation happens, what's the likelihood then you try to throw him under the bus and say he did it? I doubt it because, like you said, he's your safe space. He's a person
Did
that
they
you trust.
say what the brother said?
Huh?
Like, did the brother answer? Like, what's the?
What does the brother say? He didn't testify. They didn't. Then they didn't call him. They didn't.
I mean,
Which brother? Josh.
what the
All right.
Josh? Did they say that when AJ called, did Josh
Yes.
answer?
Yes. He
What
talked.
What did they say? He said.
They
Like, did
didn't.
they know?
They never said what they said. And they haven't interviewed him. Like they haven't called him to the stand because I feel like he's not a stable witness because of his mental issues. So I feel like no one would take seriously whatever he says. I think that the lawyer came up with the defense of let's blame Josh because he knows he's not going to give out enough information where they can actually convict Josh, but he's going to say enough where he can create reasonable doubt for AJ. And I think this family is sticking together because something happened. I think something happened that we don't know. And I think they were all a part of this. Not the grandparents. I think the grandparents are cleaning up the aftermath. But I think that the brothers, like maybe something happened with the little girl, or something happened with AJ. Also, AJ just, I know teens do go through those terrible teens, but he just suddenly his personality changed, started selling drugs, started staying out late. And I know this is things that teens do, but sometimes that can be a sign of something going wrong at home. Like when kids make drastic change, a perfectly good kid just start making drastic changes, that could have been a cry for help. So I'm thinking something happened where maybe he was messing with the sons or the daughter, that they found out about it and they did this. They covered it up, and now it's let's get AJ off. What do you think?
Okay, so I've got. Okay, I got two.
Okay.
Okay, so I think maybe people were after the dad.
Okay.
So I think that maybe your story is partially right, and that maybe the daughter or AJ, maybe they didn't do it, but like they let the people in.
Mm.
Only because I just feel like that's too much. Okay, this is like it because it's becoming too too
Good.
advanced.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's 16 and he was 16. How old is he now?
Say 21.
Okay, and he's never changed his story. Like I just
But
feel
they
like
won't. They won't allow him. He hasn't testified, so he doesn't really have to change his story. He did. He's only done 2 interviews the whole time, and they controlled the question because the lady who did the interview said you can't. They told him you can't ask this, you can't ask this, you can't ask this. So only question she was able to ask for did you murder your parents? And of course he's gonna go, no, no, I didn't.
I just,
Johnny
I
did.
don't know.
Josh did.
It's one of these like really weird. I, I almost feel like
He has a great lawyer because they have controlled the narrative. They haven't allowed him to, to go back and forth and misspeak. He probably didn't give an interview to the police. Like they've been able to control the conversation from the beginning.
I don't know. I still can't get past the actual killing. So
Yeah.
all of everything else, like, okay, cool, we can kind of think one of them did it. But to me,
Both
unless
of
we
them
can,
did.
but still, if both of them did it, so let's go with like this idea that all the kids were in on it. Like, how do you hold a grown man down without a struggle? You shot his wife twice. I don't really know how guns work, but I guess we're gonna assume that you shot him twice, so you didn't have to reload or anything. So bang bang,
No, he didn't have enough
precise.
bullets. That's another thing too. Like he only had 3 bullets. So the first two went to the mom, and he shot the dad once. And the reason why he died 24 hours later is because he didn't have another bullet. So he had to just wait. I'm saying he did it, but I don't know if he did it. But whoever,
But he got a kill shot off.
yeah, he did. So I
I
also
just
thought
feel
about
like
this. Do you
how
think he drugged them?
precise.
Do
I
you
think
think?
he had to have drugged them because, like, okay, this is going now. This is like my this is has nothing to do with true crime. This is actually like I'm thinking about a Criminal Minds episode. So, well, I don't know because in that episode it ended up being one person. So I don't know. But it's like they refused to believe it was one person because of how quick and like precise it was. That how were you able to kill two people right next to each other with
Unless they
no
were
struggle?
drugged. But then if they were drugged, would that not have come up in the autopsy? Because I was like NyQuil, but then you guys were like NyQuil. You know, people were like NyQuil can't knock you out like that, and I was like, okay,
Well,
well,
I mean, it could make you maybe. I mean, I don't
probably.
know.
What
Like,
if his dad was a drinker, right? And if he put it in his alcohol, which is already a downer, right? It could possibly take you to
I
the
mean, maybe it could slow his reaction time because, but even then, I almost feel like maybe that works if we keep your theory that multiple people help.
yeah.
Because if the dad is like kind of slowed down, then maybe it makes sense that they like held someone down, right? Because I just feel like in his right mind, there's no way that even the older brother came in, held a grown man down the whole time so he could shoot the mom
No,
twice
I don't
and
think
get
you
off
can
one
hold him
shot.
down because he was a former NFL player. I don't know if I left that out. He played with the 49ers and the Dolphins, so they had this
Yeah.
gym, and that's where they got their money from. So I don't think they could have held him down. I think either they had to have drugged him, unless I'm underestimating how fast you can be. Because I just feel like once you get off those shots, what do you guys think? I just feel like once you get off the shots with the mom, that wakes the dad up. Now, I did think of this theory too, but I don't know how plausible it is. But you never know what happened unless you're in a situation. Because I was like, why would they go for the mom first? Like, it would just make more sense to go for the dad first because he's the strong one, right? So I was like, what if when they went in there, the mom was in there and the dad was in the bathroom? And then they went ahead and took care of the mom, but they used the pillow, so it's silent. So the dad comes back out. He's like, "Oh God, what's going on?" And then if they have a mask on, they say, "Lay down, don't move if you wanna make it." And then they trick them and you gone too.
Do we know about blood?
Blood
Like,
splatter.
was
It
the
was
mom
blood.
bloody?
I know there was
Oh.
splatter. They just say splatter. I don't know from who it came from, but they said there was splatter.
Because I'm like, that works. Well, I don't think that the dad would like lay down in compliance. Like, especially if it was only AJ. I feel like even with the gun, like,
Well, if he doesn't know who it is, like if he has on a mask, because even though he's killing his parents, I'm pretty sure he's like, I don't want you to know I'm killing you. You know what I'm saying? So he puts on the mask, but I guess they didn't find the mask. But I don't really think they did a good
I
job.
mean, I just think like even like I don't know how big AJ was, but
He's not near his dad.
I'm just imagining like men have like a men are more likely to fight, right? And I feel like if I walk out and I'm a giant man, but then that's why I'm wondering about the wife because I'm like, okay, you walk out of the bathroom or something, like, and then if he's a man, if he's, I don't know though, because he's part of prostitution rings. I don't know what that says about him, but allegedly a part of a prostitution ring. But I was gonna say, like, because as a man, right, if someone walks in, you walk out and you see somebody with a gun, I would hope that the first thing you think is like, let me check my wife. And if you see that she's dead, I mean, there's no reason for you to lay down and believe him, and he's smaller than you.
I would.
Like,
What if
I
he
just feel
picked up
like,
the fact that it was AJ? He like, I'm reaching him to say like, so you come out the bathroom, right? And the guy's like, sit down, and he's like, AJ, and he said, oh, AJ, not this, and he kills him. It's like he's such a shock,
but he was laying down on his stomach, right?
He could have fell back. You know what I'm saying? No, he went on his stomach. He
Oh,
said,
they were on their back.
I really don't know. I
Oh,
just know they were laying down.
oh. I don't know why I thought you said they were on their stomach. Okay, I probably made that. Maybe that's just how I've been picturing it. Uh,
And I've been picturing the opposite. I mean, I guess that's a detail we know. See, the thing is, they kept this case like you can't watch the full trial, right? So like, there's no Dateline episode of this, and I've been piecing together what's happening because I want to believe that his tears seem genuine. Like everybody talks about how heartless he is and all this stuff, and I just feel like he's being tried for murder right now. Like I don't know who y'all want him to be right now. Like
and there's those people. Shoot, like some people. This couple that was convicted overseas somewhere for killing a friend,
mhm.
and people were like basically, I wish I could remember her real name because I don't want to call her whatever they were calling her because it was like a whole thing that they were saying like they portrayed her as like heartless and unfeeling and all this stuff. Well, and she was in jail for like 4 years in
I
another
remember
country.
that.
And then come to find out, like
Like
she
she's like a
didn't
nanny or
kill her
something.
friend. Huh?
She's like a nanny
Yeah,
or something.
she didn't kill her friend.
It just
Um,
everybody reacts different.
but like they crucified her in like the court of public opinion because she didn't come
Not
off
only
genuine.
is he on trial, he's being recorded. You know, imagine you lost your parents, you're being recorded, you're on trial. Everybody's like,
You're
oh,
being
he has no
touched because you have
emotion.
a lawyer, and your lawyer has told you like this is what you say, nothing more, nothing less. Like,
Hmm. So, I
and then
mean,
like I would be annoyed. I'm not gonna lie. Like if I know if legitimately I know I didn't kill my parents, like I don't think I'm gonna be boohooing. I'm gonna be like upset because my parents are dead and I'm having to defend them. And like, as someone, if you legitimately didn't kill your family, you're like, dang, I'm on trial, which means they're actually not looking for whoever killed
so
my
I,
parents.
I don't feel like he's guilty because of that. I feel like he's guilty because, because I'm like, who else got into the house? So I feel like the kids collaborated together. I feel like something happened. It wasn't as nice of a family as they're making it seem. Obviously, he was a part of a prostitution ring. The son, yeah. How do you show remorse if you didn't do it? True. Uh, his son was acting out for a reason. I know some people say teens just go through that. That could be true, or something could have really been going on in that house. The older brother was living with them up to 2 weeks before then. It could be that he just
Mhm.
wanted to move out, but who's trying to
But
pay
what if the older brother actually did it and like he snapped?
bills? Hmm.
And maybe everyone else in the house is covering up for him, but like if he's been mentally unstable and now he's saying all this stuff in with under
He
the care
he's
of the
a
therapist.
he's a if he snapped, he's a sniper. Okay, because boom, 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 like he's a sniper. Like,
But that's what we're believing AJ did, right? Like I feel like
well, I
either
said
way
the
it
only way I
makes
can see
no sense
AJ
to me.
doing it is if it was two of them, or if they were drugged. That's the only way I can see
I
it happening.
don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's crazy because it doesn't make sense to me that I
Or we,
mean
we don't
someone did
know.
it.
So they said, okay. The police said they found but they threw this out. Okay, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. The police said they found a crack pipe in the house. My thing is, if you know your dad has a habit, right? And I'm not saying he was a crackhead because they threw that out, but I don't know where it came from. But if he was doing a prostitution ring, he could be doing drugs. You know that he gonna be slow if he's like high or something. These people were murdered,
Well, yeah. So
so
if he was doing drugs, okay, then maybe his reaction time is slow, especially because he shot through. I just think like that's crazy because like even if it's two people, what they threw the gun to each other, they only had one murder weapon.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it had to be that. Oh, they could have reached over. There you go. Your turn. No, just playing. But this is not really funny. I know, serious situation. But like,
Right. This is very serious, but I don't know. I just
I think it's hard for me to believe. I don't know how anybody could do it. Like even an intruder. You know what I mean? Especially if they
either.
didn't tie him down. That's the only thing I can think of if he was intoxicated. Like if he was known to drink or something. And alcohol will make you sleep hard too. And so that way he might not even woke up. Because I know when I
And I
drink.
think like yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And so I mean, I don't know. And another thing too is sometimes because they were the victims, I don't think they're gonna put all that out there. You know what I'm saying? Because who case does that help to say that the parents was
Right.
high or da 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 all this stuff? And the fact that no one even questioned like how was he able to do both of them means they know something
It
we
does
don't
make and we don't have yeah, I was to say because they're still doing the trial, we don't have all the facts because that does make me think if we're holding on to this theory that one person did it all together, I feel like maybe they know something we don't know. Like maybe they did do a talk screen
know.
and they just haven't released like what it was.
All right. I don't know. It's an interesting case. What I will say is I
I
do
think
think he's
that's
guilty. I even think the sister's guilty. Just in my opinion. I feel like she's guilty too. I don't know what she did. I don't know if she's a lookout or what. It's a couple of things that just don't sit right with me. The fact, and I don't know what I would do because I've never been in a situation. I'm just gonna tell you what doesn't sit right with me. Is that you saw an intruder, you heard gunshots, and to me, I feel like the first thing, like how he called his brother, my second thing would be, where's my sister? Is my sister okay? And he didn't go wake her up until the police was like, you got a sister in there? Like, where's she at? Go check to see if she okay. Da da da. I think that's weird. Number two, I think that they said, do you need help here? And the door was cracked. You know, his answer was yes, not, I don't know because I'm scared to go in there. I just feel like that's weird. He's just like, yeah, da da da. I guess he could assume they were shot.
wait, do you need help? Wait, I'm confused. What happened?
He
I
said,
don't
do they
understand.
need help? So the 911 operator asked him, do they need help? Do the parents need help? Has somebody been shot? Does the parents need help? And he says yes. But he never went in the room. He just said the door is cracked. So, you know, he doesn't know what's going on in there, And the fact that he gave up the information about where his dad's gun was, and the fact that he said, this is all my fault, it's like, why, AJ? Why?
Mm.
You know? And so
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
he said it's all my fault because basically he let the killer get away. Like he didn't try to, apprehend him. But I don't know what 16-year-old would. But, that's what he said. But maybe he felt like he could at least tried. I don't know. I believe he was talking his heart. He was nervous. Like we don't get to hear from AJ often. He didn't get a chance to mess up and tell us different sides of the story. Well, pretty because he lawyered up. He did the smart thing and he lawyered up. He was scared. Yeah, I hear that. But he had some calculated scaredness. So I
I
just
mean, but I just feel like it is kind of like I don't know. You're like you don't know what 16-year-old would do that, but then his superhero instincts were supposed to kick in to remember. Like I'm a mom, so now I would think of Carter, but I don't know if in the middle of fear, my first thought would have been like, "Oh, gotta get to KJ, my brother." For people who don't know, like I don't know. I think like I would just be like She did. She definitely dismissed you. Like,
I did. Well, this is what I'm saying. I don't know because I've never been in that situation. I have been in a car where I thought we was
well, you
getting.
know what? Like, I haven't because no one's actually been like intruding. But I was home and like something was going on at our door. I had company. I had like a friend sleeping over, and like someone was rattling. We were like super afraid to go downstairs because we heard the noise. We didn't know who it was. At no point though, I actually did call my parents. But at no point did I ever think, oops, I better check on my brother too, who was like, we were just afraid. Like, I don't know. I just feel like
You're real disloyal. A lot of these examples you're giving is like, I don't want to be ever in trouble with her. Well, I was in a situation. I was at the house. Well, somebody actually broke in while I was in the house. I was at my friend's house. We were in the back room. We heard something fall in the front, and we were like, we said her brother's name. He didn't respond. It was like, oh my god, what's going on? Who's up there? We locked the door. We don't assume something just fell. We like somebody's in here. And then we call 911. We go, we don't know what's going on. We heard a noise up front. We just want y'all to come. And, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird, his 911. But I guess he heard gunshots. We just
well,
heard something.
maybe then you're just one of the like, well-adjusted, calm, good under pressure people, and I am not.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I ain't said never been. So I,
I'm not a superhero, okay? I'm not a superhero. My first instinct is not to go get anyone. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It depends on, I think it depends on our relationship. Not that if I could get you, I wouldn't get you, but I might not think about you if we're not that close. But if I'm close with you, like I'll probably go, oh, where's such and such. Now if I'm already at the door, it might be too late. I'm gonna yell for you.
I just feel like in fear, they're like fight or flight. And I don't know that my instinct is ever fight. So I'd be gone and I'd be like, crap, I ain't tell nobody. Like,
So do we think he did it?
I think he probably did it.
I think he did it too. Now this is what I think. I think he did it. Was a part of it. I think he might have his reasoning. It might have been
I
selfish.
think he at least knows.
Knows what
Like,
he
if
did.
he didn't do it, I think that he at least knows what
Now,
happened.
somebody in the comments, I didn't hear this, okay? Well, they don't play the 911 call. They just give you the transcript of it or whatever. But someone in the comments said that he said, "What are you doing in here?" I didn't hear that, okay? But somebody's adamant in the comments, and so that makes me think like, who was there, if that even happened? Because I didn't hear it, but that's what he said.
Maybe that's partially, I don't know. Yeah, he probably does know. Or he probably saw someone. Like, maybe it was his sister.
How?
How, what?
I guess
Oh, no, like, maybe she didn't
girlfriends
do
take
it.
time to put on capes. They dialing 911.
All right, well, I ain't no real friend.
I'm dialing 911. I don't think he did it. She doesn't think he did it
What if,
because he's a son that killed his
what
mom.
if he saw the sister? And what if she saw Josh? What if it was Arthur? Like, what if it was Josh? Because I actually kind of think it might have been Josh for real. But like, they're
Well, Josh
siblings,
has
so
an alibi. Josh was with his girlfriend at the time of the murders. And when he found out about it, she said she fell asleep around 10. She said she was awakened like at 1 something in the morning, him yelling, "Somebody broke into my parents' house and they shot my parents. They shot my parents." So Josh has an alibi.
because I'm like, okay, let's not say we think the
But I don't care
sister
about the
killed him.
alibi. I think they all in on it.
Yeah, because what if he left?
Because what if she lying?
What if she's lying? That's true, but like, what if she's not? What if he left and came back? Like,
Yeah, because they said he's only like 5 minutes away. I think they all have something to do with it. I think something
because
was happening in their house that we don't know about, and that they were like, "This is it. We're gonna get them drunk tonight, He got his.
Because if the not like if they did hear the like let's say he really did say, "What are you doing in here?" What if he saw the killer but was threatened to be killed, so he is being
You gonna go to
quiet?
jail for the killer? No, sir. No, so they got money. They can relocate him somewhere else. Like he would tell who it is if it's not a loved one. What if grandma did? No, I'm just like, go ahead.
No,
That
I was just thinking like, what if? Okay, so let's say that's for real. That was a 911 call. They were like, "What are you doing in here?" It's the sister, right? But we don't think she killed them both just because that might be a lot for a 12-year-old to do. But like maybe she's the one who actually found
he
them.
needs to join the Marines. Go ahead.
Like she's the one who actually found them, and she's the one who knows that the brother did it, or knows who actually did it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe one of the prostitutes came in and did it, and she
They
helped.
would turn the prostitutes in. What would be their motive to not snitch on the prostitutes?
Their dad was trash. Like I'm saying,
But it
I
came
just
out anyway.
huh?
It came out anyway.
No, I said their dad was trash. So like if, but because I'm like, just like let's say, I guess this is sad to like speak ill of a dead man that we don't know, but that like if the dad was doing something to them or just was awful to them in general, then and they know about all the other stuff going on in his life, like because I just feel like if they know about the other stuff, that means it's probably close to home, which means they probably been around the people who are doing this whole thing, because like if your dad's good at keeping that part of your life separate, then he's
Hmm.
not. So what if they are just kind of covering for whoever did do it, even if it's not one of them, but they all, I mean, it sucks because it's like, is their mom awful too, or is she just,
I think the mom. Okay, like I told you, I gave my opinion. I feel like the daddy was doing something to some one of them kids. I feel like the mom knew about it but didn't act, so she had to go too. I felt like the reason why they took her out first and not the dad, because that doesn't make logical sense, is either the dad is an alcoholic and they knew he was, you know, inebriated and couldn't fight back regardless. So they just went to the first person they saw and then went to the dad or whatever. Or the dad wasn't in the bed at the time and the mom was the one in the bed, and then maybe they like caught him off guard when he came out, you know? And I get real elaborate in this plan, and then like, you know. Mm-hmm. Cause like if you don't suspect anything and you come out and somebody's behind you, like where you might be strong if you see them, in front of you, but if you get caught off guard and you're already intoxicated or whatever it is, and they throw you down and shoot you, and then they ran out of bullets, so now dang, I gotta just let him die, So I'm gonna wait 30 minutes, see if I can get him to die. Now the thing that is amazing to me is like it's not really much on his clothes and all that stuff, but we don't know what he did for that 30 minutes and where he put the stuff. And if he knew that
but you can't get rid of gun residue. I guess you can get rid of blood.
yeah, you can wash your hands. I
Hmm?
asked the police officer. I asked the police officer. He said you can wash your hands and get it off.
Mm,
And the forensic scientist said that if his hands were real sweaty, his fingerprints wouldn't be left on the gun.
wow, that's really unreliable.
But it's probably more likely to think they're thinking he used the pillowcases as like the over the gun and not on his hand, or he could have wiped it down. Can you wipe off fingerprints? I don't know. And I'm just wondering
I
why they
think
didn't test why they didn't test the note to see who wrote it.
maybe they did, but that's not like super reliable.
Yeah. And then it wasn't written like in real handwriting. It's like I'm gonna post it for y'all later. So yeah.
Shoot, there was something I was gonna say, but it's gone now.
Well, we're gonna agree. I Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. I think he did it, or he was a part of it. Let me say that. I don't
Oh,
think he
I was
acted
gonna
alone.
say, I mean, maybe he just got I mean, not lucky, but like if he did it, like he just got really lucky that he was able to pull it off with three guns. Like maybe we're just overestimating how much precision it took, and that he just got really lucky. Because I'm like, maybe we're giving him too much credit for like thinking. it makes the most sense to take your dad out first.
Hmm. And
Like
he probably got nervous when he walked in. He got
like
nervous.
you walk in, maybe you just shoot who you
Yeah,
see.
it's
And
game time.
he got lucky. He got lucky that 3 bullets pulled it off. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's not as precise. I mean, it just seems crazy to think that with 3 bullets and no experience, you pulled off killing two people right next to each other. But maybe just and like I said, like you said, if they are alcoholics and all the things, like we're gonna assume they may be drunk or something, then they were just slower to react.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if the mom was silent and the daddy was slow to react, like it might was easy just to get to him and you know. Yep, beyond kids. Well, I think they worked together and did it. I think if he didn't do it, he knows who did it, and that's why he can, confidently say, "I didn't do it." And he probably seriously does regret it, because you don't think about things while you're doing it. I think of other ways they could have handled it, but they're gone now. You'll never get them back. I think the reason why the grandparents are fighting so hard for them, even though all this evidence points to AJ, is because they've already lost a son and a daughter, and maybe they know about their alternate lifestyles. You know what I'm saying? And they probably suspected some stuff was going on in their house. Grandparents love their grandkids. They didn't have McDonald's money with us. They got McDonald's money with the kids, so
All the
they're real
McDonald's money.
supportive. Huh?
I say, yep, all the McDonald's money in the world.
Yeah, so I think that yes, he's guilty. I think that they can't prove that he did it without a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
I think he gets off.
Yeah, I feel like I almost feel like it'll be weird if they actually find him guilty because it's
Too
still so
many,
much.
but like we don't know all the stuff because they won't release everything because his lawyer is bomb. But that's why people talk about the criminal justice system is against brown people. It's against poor people. Okay, you got to have a good lawyer. Okay, but yeah, so I just poor people happen to be the brown people. But yeah, so I think that's how we're gonna conclude it. We're gonna say we believe he's guilty in some way, some form or fashion, but we don't feel like he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you agree? He'll
Fair.
be he'll be home because it was a mistrial for the first trial, and now they're doing the second trial, so we'll
But
find
the
out.
second trial is happening now, right?
Yeah, so I read two things. I heard it was happening in April, then I heard it was happening in June. So
Oh, so it's coming up.
it's coming up. I think it got pushed back for another 6 weeks. Is what I read. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, but really enjoyed you on here today. Did you enjoy the podcast? I know we was all
Thanks
over the
for
place.
having
I think next
me.
time we'll organize it a little bit better to, isolate. But I still think it turned out pretty well. And maybe we can add some pictures to it to give it more visual. But other than that, I think it went real well. Did you enjoy your time here today?
I did. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. So don't forget, let us know. Do you think AJ is guilty, and do you think he will be found guilty? What do you think happened that night? You know, do you think his sister was involved because she slept through, the murder of 2016? And what about Josh, the older brother? Do you think he had anything to do with it, or do you think it was the people from the prostitute ring? No, because they'd have brought their own gun. But but yeah, so thank you guys for watching it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, even though we didn't craft, stay crafted.